it's this big thing of hope and faith that's got people glued to this book. Go ahead, bro.
And it's hope, faith, and fear. And a lot of people, like, I have conversations with Christians, and they'll say stuff to me that, to me, is simple, and I don't think it makes sense. Why would you bring that argument up? But I understand that a lot of people just simply never thought about this stuff. They never been asked about this stuff. So what they'll say is, oh, you think they just came up with all this stuff? You saying these people so smart, they just made all this stuff up? Well, that's why I made the video that you saw before this, to let y'all understand that this took centuries. This is thousands of years of people thinking about it, saying, oh, that didn't work. Oh, we got to go do this. You know, they had the Council of Nicaea, the Council of Chalcedon, where all these bishops and priests get together and decide who Jesus is and decide what the doctrine should be. What are we going to teach the people? Well, they had the doctrine that God was going to punish you now. He was going to make you have warts, and he was going to punish your kids and your grandkids. Now they don't say that type of stuff. Now they say you're going to go to hell. Why? Because they realized that the first argument didn't fucking work. Because people can see that shit ain't happening to nobody. It ain't happening to the person who's sinning. He's not getting cursed with all these curses that you said. So they have to make something up that you can't see, that you can't test. Oh, well, you'll see what happened when they die. They're just going to be dead. If you look at it logically, it's so much more simple and it makes so much more sense. It might scare the fuck out you. So if you never seen somebody, or anything for that matter, die from a fucking crucifixion, a nail in a fucking head, and then come back, you never seen that happen. All you got is this story where it say it happened. And also in that story, you got talking animals, talking donkeys, talking snakes, flying horses, all types of fucking fantasy shit that we don't believe in if it's in any other book. But if you put the word Bible on it, all that fantasy shit all of a sudden become true to you. Think about it logically. We ain't even got to get out. I really, honestly, I don't even like dealing with the Bible because I think it perpetuates the importance or the significance of the Bible. I like to throw this shit all out the window. Only time I deal with the Bible really is when I'm dealing with a person who deals with the Bible and they don't want to hear nothing unless it's coming from the Bible. So then I say, okay, I'm gonna use your own Bible against you. And I'm gonna show you that this shit don't make no sense. But generally speaking, we don't even have to go that far. Just think, people. If there was a God that wanted you to know some shit, how would he get it to your brain? How would he give you that information? Is he gonna write a fucking book 2,000 years ago from some motherfuckers who didn't even have a printing press? Or is he gonna put it out on a mass broadcast? Is he gonna write it on the moon or some shit like that where everybody can see it? I mean, if I was a God, you wouldn't have to question me. Trust me. I would let you know exactly what was required of you and exactly what I expected of you. So it's another book called What God Wants by Neil Donald Walsh. And when you read that book, if you a Christian, it'll give you a different way to think about God. And basically the gist of this book, I read it in one sitting because when I first started reading it, it had some ideas in it that I just had never thought about before, and I couldn't put it down. So the whole gist of the book is basically, why the hell would God want something? Think about it. If you Bill Gates and you own every house in your neighborhood, why you want another house in your neighborhood? You already got all the houses. If somebody come and they say, hey man, I'm gonna shack up in the basement in this house in the back of the neighborhood. If you Bill Gates, you probably ain't even got time. You can't live in all the houses, so you probably just say, okay, you in the basement, pay me some rent or some shit. But Bill Gates bought every house in his neighborhood because he don't want to have no neighbors, because he can afford to do that. So we talking about God. Bill Gates is a fucking man. All right. We talking about a God that owns not the neighborhood, but the whole universe, all neighborhoods, all galaxies, all stars. He owns everything. What could he want from you, little boy, you who live on Earth?
And why does he need you to do his work? And why does God need you to do his work? For something that made the whole entire universe, suns, you know what I'm saying, and moons and planets, he needs you to work for him. Like, what kind of temp service is God running? You know what I'm saying? It's the temp service that God got going on, man.
Yeah, that just blows my mind. Like, we got that rapper Lil Nas X been in the news lately because he got an album coming out. You know, when rappers have albums coming out, they start tripping. So that's their publicity. So basically, it's been a debate going on as to say, well, should Lil Nas X be saying the things that he's saying and doing the stuff that he's doing? When half of the people saying he going against God, but another half of the people saying he doing God's work. And at that point, how do you know who's right? Because it's come down to a matter of opinion. Is which God are we even talking about? The Christian God? Because if we go to Sri Lanka,
we talking about the Most High.
What Lil Nas X is doing because he ain't part of their religion. So
we talking about the Most High.
Yeah, that's a cop out too. So that's another thing that people got to understand. These tricks that religious clergymen have played on your brain. They don't even call God by his name. Why don't they call God by his name? Because they don't want people to be able to refute it. If you say Yahweh don't exist, they're going to say, well, I ain't talking about Yahweh. I'm talking about the real God. If you say Vishnu don't exist, they're going to say, well, I ain't talking about Vishnu. I'm talking about the real God. But that's like saying dad or mom. It's a title. It's not an actual person. Just even the Satan, that means adversary. It's not somebody's name, Satan. So if you do the research and you do the history, you realize that these are titles. They remove the names from the titles to make it loose so that they can be loose with what they say to you. If they have to pin down and say, okay, Satan is this person here, and then we can go and say, well, we don't see this person in history. They don't want you to do that. So they just say Satan, and everybody got this idea of Satan being this evil energy that exists. And anything bad that happened, we're going to blame it on the devil. Anything good that happened, we're going to give credit to God. Just like I asked the lady that was on when we had Atheists Need Love 2 episode. I asked her, do you, like, because she said, I know God did this. God did this for me. I couldn't do it by myself. I said, okay, do you give credit to God for the bad stuff that happened to you? Or you say that, oh, that's just stuff that happened. Oh, that's the devil who did that. And how would you know? You the dumb motherfucker that go to surgery, get treatment, get medication, and then thank God when you get healed. Don't thank none of the people who was working on you, but you think this imaginary motherfucker who ain't did a bitch ass thing, but you gonna say he was working through those people, even though you don't have no evidence of it. But if somebody break in your house, go upside your head with a baseball bat and take all your shit, you're not gonna say God was working through him. You're gonna automatically attribute it to some other motherfucker. But if somebody busts in your house and just bestow $1 million cash on the floor, you're gonna say, oh, God was working through them. Yeah, I understand what I'm saying. You deciding who to give credit to, and anything good, you say God done it. Anything bad, you say the devil done it. When you don't have no evidence of who the culprit was. If I say Sue shot Sally, does that mean that Sue shot Sally? Because I said it? No, you have to have actual evidence. That's why the police and the court systems require evidence to convict somebody. You could be guilty as all get out. But if there is no evidence against you, you ain't going to jail.
And not only that, Kweli, you got to give us a description of Sue. You know what I'm saying? Hey, police, Sue had stringy hair and white feet. That's the description I got. The one that shot Sally had stringy hair and white feet.
You know what I'm saying? Between the height of 4 feet and 10 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, could be fucking anybody.
That's how so they say
that's what they do with God. They don't even have a description of God. So they say God done this, but they can't even tell you what the motherfucker looked like. So not only did they not witness it, but nobody witnessed it. They can't tell you what the person who witnessed it said, because there is no person who witnessed it. They just run around saying Sue shot Sally. And then guess what? The police show up and they say, where is Sue? Who is Sue? What, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got a different answer. Sue is a all-knowing, omniscient being. It goes around shooting people. And then another motherfucker say Sue is my high school teacher. Another motherfucker say Sue is my sister. And we ask them, well, what does this person look like? And they can't tell you what Sue look like. But they telling you, they swearing up and down that Sue shot Sally. Sue shot Sally, but they can't tell you nothing. They got no evidence, no DNA, no fingerprint, no murder weapon. Like,
Not
these
even a
are
good
all things
description.
that are required if you're going to make a claim. You have to have some type of evidence. Now, it's different types of evidence that you can have. You can have good evidence, you can have bad evidence, or weak evidence, strong evidence. You can have a lot of evidence, you can have a little evidence. But in order to make a claim, you generally have to have some type of evidence. You can't just say Sue shot Sally. That don't hold no fucking weight. You know, if you go to court and you ain't got no evidence and you just saying stuff, you know what they call that? Hearsay.
Yeah.
So the Bible
Case
is the big book
dismissed.
of hearsay. Bible is the big
This
book of
is
hearsay.
prophecy, man. There's prophecy going on right now that's in the Bible. That's what they say.
Exactly, but
They want to claim that
as
the
as the
COVID-19 is
atheists,
in the
what we
Bible.
do,
I said,
we
show
come
me
up and we
where.
say, well, where's the evidence?
Exactly.
They
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 want to
never
allude
have
to
the
some
evidence.
kind of famine or war scripture that's been going on for ages. They want to allude to that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When they even use the road to Damascus. I mean, not road to Damascus. Yeah, Damascus is supposed to be not inhabitable no more, but you got 2 million people that live there. Like, come on, your prophecies fail, people. For you Israelites, Nicolaites that believe in this book, y'all have no clear prophecy of COVID-19. They have no clear prophecy of 9/11. They try to put 9/11 in the Bible. I'm like, damn, the Bible, come on, man. Don't you think God would have don't you think God being all knowing would know how he can basically make his prophecies clear versus, you know what I'm saying, somebody just interpreting a scripture as if it's prophecy? They got to be, come on, man.
Exactly. So this is the problem that we have with Christianity. So why can't we let go of the Bible? When I say we, I'm talking about we as a people, not me and Kwame, because I threw the Bible away a long time ago. But why
I
we
shot
as
the
a
Bible.
people, why we as a people can't let go of the Bible? And the answer is, well, it's complicated because first of all, people are afraid to not believe because they've been told that if you don't believe, you're going to hell. And it's indoctrination. So from a childhood, these ideas have been put in your head. But if something is not true, how can so many people believe it? And the answer is consistent reinforcement. You have to go to church every fucking week to believe this stuff or have somebody around you constantly reinforcing this into you. You know what I'm saying? If I say Sue shot Sally and I just leave it at that, 10 years from now, you ain't gonna be thinking that Sue shot Sally. But if I say Sue shot Sally and I come back the next week, hey, you remember Sue shot Sally? And I come back the next week, hey, remember Sue shot Sally? After a while, you ain't gonna be able to forget it. Cause you're like, damn, I've been hearing this shit 52 times a year, every fucking year. You 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we can't let go of the Bible because it's been reinforced so much, but that don't make it true. And that's the reason why, even after 2,000 years, everybody's not a Christian. If the shit was true, I mean, you should see some leaning towards it. Let's take evolution, for example. Some people don't believe evolution is true. But guess what happened? The theory came out. Everybody said it was bullshit except a few scientists. But over time, more and more people began to accept it as true. Why? Probably because it is true. And when you do the actual research, you will find out it makes so much sense. And it's been proven through fossil records, DNA records, geological distribution of species, a lot of ways you can prove that evolution is in fact true. All species are related, whether y'all like it or not. Humans are not special. We just simply at the top of the food chain because we got thumbs and brains. That's it. But it's a lot of animals that can do stuff that we can't do. And they probably going to pass us considering the way we behave with each other. You know what I'm saying? We put ourselves as things. Humans haven't even been around that long in a big scale of time. Crocodiles and sharks been around for millions of years. Humans been around for thousands of years. So we could go extinct really any given day. And as far as time is concerned, because time is billions of years, not these 50, 60 years that we live and talk about. And people have a hard time understanding that. But what happens when something is true? It holds weight. People can't refute it. Nobody been able to disprove evolution. It's a million people right now that'll tell you they can prove that your religion is fake. And I don't care what religion you got. I'm the one that's gonna tell you it's all bullshit. But there's a lot of people that will tell you their religion is true, but your religion is bullshit. Even though their reasons for believing their religion are the same reasons that you give for believing your religion. So let's pick on Christianity, because I like to pick on you Christians because y'all so sensitive and easy to fuck with. If
Yeah,
Jesus
and
came
the
back from the
Nicodemus too.
dead, then we would have some evidence of that. So what's the evidence that Jesus actually came back from the dead? What's the evidence that Sue shot Sally? I said it. What's the evidence that Jesus came back from the dead? Somebody in the Bible said it. But it gets even worse, because in the Bible, we can't even talk to these motherfuckers. We can't even interrogate them and say, yo, what about this part? What about that part? They dead now. The people, and if they was alive, they don't even got the real authors on the books. They got Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. These people didn't write those books. They just put their name on it. So we can't even interrogate and scrutinize the evidence. We can't interrogate the witnesses. All we got is a book that says there's witnesses, which is even worse than somebody saying Sue shot Sally and just leaving it at that, and can't even tell you what Sally looked like or how they know. They're just gonna make a empty claim. So did Jesus come back from the dead? Well, what we know about this claim, we know that if he did, it was the only time in history that this happened. And generally speaking, things don't just happen once. Something happens in the universe. It's probably going to happen a few times at least, sometimes over and over and over again. The only thing that we know that happened once, and I argue that it didn't happen once, it's just our limited knowledge of it, is the beginning of life on Earth. Life began on Earth, but that's something that's not, like, once life began, it's not needed to begin again. That don't make no sense. But if you live in a universe where people coming back from the dead, I would expect it to happen like more than once. If Jesus felt the need to, of God or Jesus felt the need to come down to earth back then, you mean to tell me he can't find nothing that he need to come down here and do now? Nothing needs done. All these preventable diseases that are killing people in other countries, all these motherfucking manufactured diseases that's killing people around the world, all the crime and lies that's going on, all the people in the church that's scamming the people, because you got Christians that's against the church. And if you actually read your Bible, Jesus was against the church. He didn't like church. He went to church one time and turned that bitch out. Said, all y'all motherfuckers fake as shit. But you Christians still claiming to follow Jesus and going to church. And another quip I got with you Christians, y'all don't even call the motherfucker by his real name. Y'all ain't got the decency to call him by his real name. I would feel offended if I was your Jesus, because there was no letter J on the face of the earth until the late 16th century. So whoever this motherfucker was, he wasn't no Jesus. His name would have been something else. And the fact that you just gonna change this nigga name arbitrarily to suit you means that you either weak-minded and you just do what everybody else do, probably, or you are so inconsiderate and disrespectful that you would call your own God something that he ain't tell you to call him. Even if it is true, you dead ass wrong. But I digress.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I you know what I'm saying, that's why I keep asking when I'm in the clubhouse. Yeah, I'm laughing at what Sharon said. Sharon said there's here about 11 newborn babies died and they fired in the hospital. Guess God would just watch. God just watched. I said, no, God was just busy drinking and watching the Detroit and Buffalo game. So, so that's basically what God was doing. You know, but yeah, you know, the name of God, you know, it's always called the Most High because you know, I'm getting a theory, you know, on why they do that. And you kind of tapped in a little bit of that too. But I think it's because if you do give a name, like you said, then we can go back and find. Wait, excuse me, I'm so sorry. We can go back and find if that God really exists. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the Most High Creator. You know what I'm saying? So he got a name, they just don't want to say it. Or like my mama do. God, I said, what's God's name? I am that I am. You know what I'm saying? You know.
I don't
So
understand how people don't get that I am stuff. That's just like it's a smart aleck response. If somebody say, what's your name? You say, my name is my name. That's pretty much saying, get the fuck out my face. You know what I'm saying? I'm not answering your question. Where you going? I'm going where I'm going. The fuck you worry about it for? You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
But go ahead though.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's a it's a way for them to kind of cling onto their beliefs, and they don't. I guess it's just like they. I don't know how I'm trying to put it because I've been dealing with this all weekend on the club. If y'all ever get a chance, download that Clubhouse app. It's so fucking funny. But when we was like yesterday, we were doing rehearsal for the Bible Comedy Hour, right? Oh man, you should have seen all them Hebrews come in, all the Christians come in. Oh, I wish it was on this show, bro. I'm telling you, I wish they would do that on the show, what they did to my live stream last night. Man, it was so funny. And we kept asking that question. We kept asking, was the Bible inspired? They said, yes, it was inspired. Then one of my friends, atheist friends, asked, do you believe that man is flawed? And they were like, yes. I said, well, how do you know a flawed man can write a book that's basically true? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like their cognitive dissonance is basically screwing with them. You know what I'm saying? It's like they feel like it's not that they believe so wholeheartedly. It's like it's the fact that they're afraid not to believe. They think the fall is 90 feet when it's only 2 inches. They think the fall from grace is 90 feet when it's only 2 inches.
I wouldn't even call it a fall from grace. I would call it a rise from grace, because I know you probably feel the same way, that after you stop believing in that stuff, you feel freer. You could think and things made more sense. A lot of questions they used to ask, like, damn, why God didn't intervene in this? Why God allowed this stuff to happen? Well, if God don't exist, that explains that pretty much 100% solid. Mm-hmm. That's why God ain't doing shit, because there is no God. You know what I'm saying? And when you go talk to the people, the powers that be, as they say, most of those people don't believe in this bullshit. If you don't believe that they don't believe it, look at the media that they put out. If people actually believed in God and this Christianity shit, this shit would be so different. So you have to get reinforced to that shit. But to your point, what you were saying, I think that not only are they afraid not to believe, but they invested in it. So you were speaking with Captain Tazariak this weekend. I hope he called in if you're watching Tazariak.
He got the information and everything.
But I'm gonna pick on Tazariak for a little second, because he have invested in his religion. So for him, it's very difficult for somebody in his position to admit this is all bullshit. Damn, I've been leading these people down the wrong path, because that's his bread and butter. He can't just come out and say, oh, I was wrong about that. For me, I don't hold no belief to my heart. So if somebody come and tell me, hey, you know you was wrong about this, I can say, word, oh, appreciate that. I can actually thank them. Thank you for showing me I was wrong. But if you go to a religious person or preacher or somebody who's on YouTube professing this religion as truth, and you say, hey, you know you was wrong about that, he cannot, in his position, admit being wrong, because that would be the end of his whole shebang. Have to delete the channel, have to close the church or something like that. And if you making a living off of it, shit, that's your job gone. So they have to keep on going. So even Ray Hagan said that, these preachers, they know this stuff is bullshit, but a lot of them cannot come out and tell everybody that this is bullshit, because they don't have any other skills. They don't know how to do it. They've been preaching since they were 18 or 20 or something, and now they 45, 50, and they don't know how to do nothing else. So they have to go up there every Sunday and preach the same shit over and over again, which, by the way, folks, if you've been studying the same book for 15, 20 years and you ain't learned nothing new in the last 5 years, you might want to get a new book, because there ain't no other class that take that damn long to master and you ain't getting no new information. It don't take 4 years to get a degree. Why you ain't got a degree in Christianity yet? You been going to church your whole goddamn life? And you let an atheist tell you something about the Bible that you didn't know? Shame on you. Shame on you. That's how you get out of that stuff. You actually read the shit. A lot of people don't actually read it. But there is, I think it's called the Clergy Project, where it's basically an anonymous online board of preachers that don't believe the shit that they preaching. And they go on there and they converse about it. So if you don't believe that shit that I'm saying, I was just saying, if you don't believe what I'm saying, you can just go look it up. The Clergy Project. These preachers do not believe the shit that they preaching to y'all. But go ahead, Kwame.
No, remember, it's the same thing. Like, remember I was saying I was going to Jarvis Christian College to be a minister. And then, I was the one that was asking so many questions. And that's when the minister came, pulled me out, made me stay out the class. and he was asking me, you know, he was telling me that it doesn't resonate with me. And he was telling me that, he said, yeah, this stuff is basically allegorical story. It's theology, meaning it's a study of God, you know what I'm saying, study of religion, right? So he gave me that book, 16 Crucified Saviors, you know what I'm saying? That book been out for a minute, you know what I'm saying? So that book was out a long time. And when he gave me that book, that's when I deconverted quickly, because I had no fear to see. I didn't have nothing to go off on. Yes, I mean, I had questions, but I was also scared not to believe. You know what I'm saying? Until I got that book. When I got that book, you know what I'm saying, it made me realize how the devil came about, you know what I'm saying, and how all these other deities were anthropomorphized as elements of nature. You know what I'm saying? And most of them are. Even Jesus is the sun. Jesus called himself the bright morning star, as well as the devil. You know what I'm saying? So he's the son of the morning. You know what I'm saying? The S-U-N. Come on now. So when I realized that, it was easy for me to deconvert. And once these Christians look at something different other than their Bible, then it'll be easy for them to deconvert. But like I said, like last night, you know, I had Cesario came into my live at Clubhouse, and I was asking him hard questions. And I got Captain Cesario, and this is for all you Hebrews out there that's listening. Y'all are related to the white man according to the Bible, because if Jacob and Esau have the same mama and daddy, the white man is your brother, biologically. Tazariak says it, not me. Tazariak said it in front of all his Hebrews. Because when Tazariak comes to a clubhouse, he gonna bring a following. Just like if he come to the show tonight, you're gonna have like 100, 200 people in your live, right? For real. He's gonna bring his class. That's what he did in my life.
I hope so, man. But what I want them to do is tell me how they decide what's allegorical and what's not allegorical, because for me to read something like that, I would think it would have to be allegorical, because how the fuck parents, two people, man and woman, have children of different races? One on black, one on white, one on Asian. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
How that work? If that's not a metaphor or allegory, then you got to explain that one to me. You know what I'm saying? If that's an allegory, then how I know the whole fucking book ain't allegory? Why am I reading some of this stuff let me rephrase that. Why are y'all reading some of this stuff as fact and some of this stuff as allegory? I think the stuff that they can claim is fact and they can argue, they just say it is fact. And the stuff that they know they can't argue, they just gonna say, oh, it's allegory. That means I can't reconcile that one, man. But it's got to be a metaphor, because it makes no fucking sense. But actually, the whole fucking book don't make no damn sense. It makes sense if you look at it as a weapon, a tool of oppression that's created to keep people in line when the government can't. Then it makes sense. But in the sense of how religious people believe it as some sort of salvation and hope, it's not doing that. It's not doing its job. Look at the black community. If you live in a black neighborhood, try this experiment tomorrow when you on your way to work or school or wherever you go on Mondays. Count the churches that you see. Just count them. Just count them. And you gonna be like, God damn, there's that many churches over here. There's more churches than any fucking thing. And the neighborhood is this fucked up. If the religion was so good, how are the most religious people, the people that adhere to it the most, doing the worst? Maybe because it's not good. Maybe because it is a tool of oppression and a weapon that's meant to keep you right where you at. Maybe that's why the slave masters used to allow slaves to practice their religion. If it was Christianity, but you ain't finna practice no African religion over here that's really gonna probably, bring you back to your spirituality that you started with and keep y'all unified. No, y'all can't do that. But our religion, oh yeah, go preach that. Here you go, Nat Turner. Go preach this to the people, but don't read this part. Read them this part right here, and I'm gonna sit here and watch and make sure that you read them the part I want you to read. That's why Nat Turner went off. You know what I'm saying? But the Hebrew is going to say, oh no, the Bible inspired him to go up. No, the nigga smartened up. He realized, man, y'all using me to keep my people enslaved. So he started a revolt. You know what I'm saying? Not because of the Bible, but because of the fact that they were using the Bible to keep them people enslaved. The Bible ain't nothing but the big book of slavery, or the big a slave's guide to the universe, as I like to call it. You know what I'm saying? The Bible. If you believe it, you buy bull. So why can't we get out of that, people? Fear, indoctrination, and then cognitive dissonance, and a lack of will to actually look into the shit. Look into the shit. I don't understand how people can believe something so wholeheartedly that they haven't researched. at all. You ain't verified it for yourself. So you don't know it. You know what I'm saying? It's already, it can be argued that you can't know anything to 100% certainty, but you can get as close as you can to the 100%. That don't mean you shouldn't try to know something. If you just gonna take any old claim, if that's the case, everybody would be locked up for murder, because anybody could just show up and say this person did this. They used to do that in the past. They had witch hunts. Your religion, Christians, killed innocent women under auspice that they were witches. They would say, if you a witch, then you afloat when we throw you in the water. If you drown, then we know you're not a witch. But guess what? If you was a witch, they was gonna kill you, and if you're not a witch, you're gonna drown. So basically, anybody that they decided was going to be tried to be a witch was sentenced to death. And all it took was for somebody to say, "Bitch, a witch. That bitch put a curse on me. That bitch, she put a spell on me or whatever." And they'll come in and do the witch test on you, which kills you. So this is your religion that's going out doing this stuff with no evidence. So these are the type of people that y'all have stood on their shoulders. Y'all stood on the shoulders not of giants, but of little people that believed in things without evidence. And we know,
like I said before,
that's not a good way to go about life. You know what I'm saying?
and like I said before, to these are to the Hebrews and the Christians. If this is a black religion, if Christianity is black, then why is white people using it as their spirituality? And here's another killer. If this is what kills it too. Why is America copying Egypt and not the Israelite culture? Because they ain't had nothing to copy. They ain't had nothing but the goddamn desert. Yes, the America's gonna have the eagle, well, Haru. Yes, they're gonna have the Tekanuf and the Washington Monument. They copying a civilization that's worth copying. You know what I'm saying? And the only you mean to tell me the only thing they copied from the Israelites was a book? Come on, man.
And you know, a lot of people think because I changed my name to Kweli, and we talk about Egypt a lot, that I got some type of love relationship with ancient Egypt. It's just simply the fact of the matter that this is the first civilization on the earth, the first place on earth where you could say was civilized. And the public will have you think that Africa don't have nothing to offer. Africa is just a wild place, you know what I'm saying? And that's just not true. So I'm interested in it, and I happen to be black, so I got some vested interest in it. But I'm not one of these people that's gonna be like, oh, you got to follow the Kemetic sciences and because that people just gonna try to find a reason not to. They're gonna say, well, that's a religion too, and all that stuff. But I like to take it to the simplest concept that we could take it to. Why should I believe your religion? Furthermore, why should I believe that there is some God that I haven't seen, you know, or heard or talked to? When the person on the other side of the world believes in a different God that they haven't seen or talked to, it's starting to look like all these God claims are full of shit, and they got an expiration date. We no longer believe in Zeus, Thor, Hercules. All these were gods at one point. The Greek gods, Serapis, Ptolemy. We don't believe in these beings to be gods. And guess what's going to happen to Jesus and Yahweh? Don't believe me? Look at any movie that depicts the future, because Hollywood has sneaked some shit into their movies. Look at any movie. I don't care what the name of the movie is, when it was made. Any movie that's depicting like a future civilization, they always are atheists. Always. And there's not one movie that got Christianity and they took place in the year 3000 something, or they traveled.
Terminator was a movie of atheism.
Anything from the future, there is no religion, because they know in the future all this shit it's already going away. It's happening already. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm ahead of the curve. So you might think that the religion is popular and atheism is not popular, but in the future it's the other way around. Just like in the past, motherfuckers was cutting people's heads off and sacrificing virgins. Now we know that doesn't do any good, so they don't do that no more. Now people are sitting on their hands and knees praying to the wall. In the future, they're gonna realize that shit don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's a waste of time. All they do is divide us and separate us. You know what I'm saying? So that's religion's job, to keep everybody separate, worrying about the wrong thing. And it was a lady, by her, I think her username on YouTube is Bright Eyes. She called in a couple months ago, and she was saying, like, this all is just a waste of time. We should be worrying about how to invent something or how to build something, not what a religion is. But that's the whole point of this show. That's the whole point of this show, is to teach people that this conversation is a waste of fucking time. Hopefully, if we do our jobs right, we won't have to come on here no more, because it would be pointless, because everybody would already know this stuff. But until then, we doing a disservice to the people, because every Sunday they getting reinforced Jesus, 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 or goddamn the Hebrew Israelites, which ain't nothing but a bunch of black racists that think that it's okay for Hebrew Israelites to go and rob and kill other people, but they ain't gonna do it to their own people, and they demean women and all types of shit. So not only is it keeping us separate, but it's teaching you stuff that's not beneficial for you. You know what I'm saying? Like Tazariak is on the record saying he hate Africans. How the fuck a black man gonna say he hate Africans when you are one? Oh, because in his mind he ain't African. In his mind he an Israelite, and that's the fucking problem. Because white people don't behave like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they just white people. But black people want to say, "Oh, where you from? Where you from? Oh, I'm from the east side. I'm from the west side." And then how about you just be black? Because these motherfuckers, they pull you over, they don't care where you from. You black. When you go to jail and them skinheads get on your ass, they don't give a fuck where you from. You black. So that's the team you on, but they got it in your mind that you can pick and choose subdivisions and subsets of your team, and that's why black people in America are in the diaspora that they in, where they spend more money than, as a group, they spend more money than everybody, but they ain't got shit for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So you shouldn't hate Africans, Tazariak. You should hate African Americans and motherfuckers who separate them, like Hebrew Israelites in any religion.
Hey, you got Taz's number too, don't you? I gave it to you.
Oh yeah, I got his number.
Right. Yeah, we just wait because he said he don't know that he's gonna,
But I figure, like, you know what I'm saying, once you reach out to somebody and tell them, yo, we're gonna be live on this time. If they want to come on, they're gonna come on. If they don't, they don't. But at the end of the day,
I think he knew what he was getting himself into, though. Because I told him you're not. Yeah, I think he knew. He knew what I'm gonna say.
So if you come on here, just know I'm always gonna be respectful to anybody that come on my show. But because we get cussed out all the time, where niggas be calling us all types of names and shit. But I understand that these people hold this stuff dear to their heart. So when you tell somebody that something that they believe in is not true, they get upset. They take offense to it. It's almost like telling your friend that they breath stink, even though you're trying to help them. They're gonna take offense to it. They're gonna take it as an insult. But once they come back and realize, like a few days later, damn, I'm glad they told me that, but then let me walk into the club without this gum, because, man, if you weren't my friend, I'd have been embarrassed. I ain't know. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's really your friend gonna let you know, hey, man, you fucking up. Hey, that shit that you believe in is not helping the community. If you really care about helping the community, let that shit go. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like just making claims, because that put me on the same level as them. I like to show people or ask them epistemology questions to lead them to their own conclusion. It's like, how you know this? How do you know that? Where you get that from? And they realize they didn't get it from nowhere. It's hearsay. They was told this at an age that when they were so young that they brain literally couldn't scrutinize it.
And I want to talk to you. And you're right, because Captain Cesariak's following is mostly 20-year-olds. Like the lady in the Jay, the dude named Jay that was on there, he's 25, and the young lady, she's 24. So Tazariak following is a bunch of young people. Now, General Yohana, they are old niggas and shit like that. But Tazariak is going to these prisons and reaching out to these young people. He's not going to people, a 30-year-old with a mind, you know what I'm saying? He's getting them when they're young. They just fresh out of high school and shit, when their mind is still impressionable. Their mind is still geared to learn. See what I'm saying? So that's what Tazariak is doing.
And that's like generally speaking, like Hebrew, if you're going to be a Hebrew Israelite, right? That's just basically a different version of Christianity. So most people in our country get Christianity forced on them. So if you're going to start to realize, wait a minute, some of this stuff don't add up, and then somebody show up with this Hebrew Israelite doctrine, it can sound convincing to you to say, oh shit, you know, all this stuff in the Bible, they really talking about black people. They talking about you. These your people, man. And all this stuff. And it empower you for a minute and make you think, oh shit, I'm special. Oh, this is about my people. But when you analyze that information, you realize, wait a minute, y'all don't have no reason to believe this, just like they ain't had no reason to believe that. I ain't in no better of a position, and it's still not doing what it's supposed to do. It still ain't saving people. If your religion worked, everybody in your religion, or 75% of everybody in your religion, should be doing better than pretty much everybody else in the world, because you got the true religion. You got a conduit to God. How are you in the same diaspora as a motherfucker that's an atheist? How we got the same problems and the same trials and tribulations? Tell me something that an atheist go through that a Christian don't, or the Christian go through that an atheist don't. What makes them different? The difference is the atheist is not going to blame what happens to him on an invisible force that he ain't never seen before. And if he in a fucked up situation, he going to do this. A Christian gonna blame all the shit that they can't see on steps that happen to them. On, if it's bad, they're gonna say the devil did it. If it's good, they're gonna say God done it. And when they get into a bad situation, they're gonna do this. God, please, please. And they don't use that brain. Well, if there is a God, which there ain't, but if there was a God that made you, he gave you a brain, use it. That's probably what he wants you to do with it. That he gave it to you. So use it. Stop doing this and praying to the fucking wall. You know why I stopped? When I stopped praying, I wouldn't even call myself an atheist, but I stopped praying. I used to pray every time I got into a car. And I got pulled over so many times. It's like the police just love to pull me over. I don't know if it's me or if every young black man get pulled over that much, but it's like I couldn't fucking fart in my own car without getting pulled over. And I ain't doing it. Ain't like I'm out here fucking around. You know, I ain't doing nothing illegal. Nothing illegal. I get pulled over. Other cops show up to the scene and say, why you pull him over in the first place? And these niggas lie. Oh, he had a busted tail. Like, it ain't busted. Why you pull the motherfucker over in the first place? He got you out there for 2 hours and shit, questioning you, and you ain't done nothing wrong. And I done prayed that I wouldn't get pulled over. Now, before I got in the car, I'm praying. Lord, please don't let these fucking police, all that. I pray that I'm gonna make it to my destination safely, man. I almost fucking died in the car accident, and I prayed that I would make it to my destination safely. So prayer does not work. I know from experience it does not work, and they tested it scientifically and proved that it don't work. It works at a rate of chance, pure chance, rolling the dice. You know what I'm saying? It's like a motherfucker saying they good at shooting dice. I figure, how are you good at something that's random? Unless you cheat. Unless you cheating. You know what I'm saying? It's a random game. You can't be good at it, nigga. That's why they call it gambling. But
yeah, you know, hey man, that's a good, man. We should call this the Atheist Rant Show right now, because we ranting about some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
I got on them nigga brews. I said, man, you mean to tell me you rather trade a motherfucking desert that you can barely grow orange, you can't even grow grass over there for a continent with all the minerals and all the resources? You mean to tell me that dry desert ass land with a bunch of snakes and scorpions and shit is better than Africa? What resources can you find over there in fucking Israel that you can't find in Africa? You can't find shit over there. Y'all think y'all want that land so fucking bad? It's not even funny, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything you use, cars, all the metals and gold and stuff, where does it come from? It don't come from Israel. You see what I'm saying? So that's sad that y'all rather trade a motherfucking desert. You know what I'm saying? For you rather trade Africa for a goddamn wasteland. They ain't got nothing but trash and shit all over the goddamn place. Come on now.
fucking war-torn country, man, war-torn country. But all that stuff spring from this religion. So basically, my understanding of what Christianity is over the years is a group of people, small group of people, small tribe called the Israelites had a religion, and they used it against their own people. Keyword, against their own people. They used this religion to keep people in check, keep people behaviors aligned with the laws of the land, right? Over time, these ideas changed because these people got conquered by other people, and they put some of their beliefs on top of these beliefs. You know what happens when a nation conquers another nation? They intermingle. You know what I'm saying? They mix with each other. They have sex with each other, and their offspring become mixed, and their ideas get mixed. And it ain't just overnight. This is over centuries, hundreds of years. And then it happened again. Those people get conquered. Then it happened again. Those people get conquered. Then they might go conquer some more people. So by the end, you got something that don't look nothing like what it started with. But when the Hebrew Israelites get a hold of it, they like to pretend like none of that stuff happened, and all this stuff that we got in the end has been here from the beginning, and they talking about black people. But let me ask you, like, if you go to Israel, you don't see African looking people there. All these Hebrew Israelites look like Africans to me, but when you check the science of, okay, where did life start on Earth? Everybody knows it started in Africa, not in Israel. So if God was going to have a chosen people, don't you think they would be where where he put them the first time he made people? Why would he make people and then choose these new Johnny come lately motherfuckers from little small Canaan that get their ass kicked historically, fucking fall off the face of the earth? That's why they call them the lost tribe. Like they don't look like it was God given. You know what I mean? The only reason Christianity spread so much is because the Romans forced it on everybody that they was colonizing, when the Rome was the military power of the world. At one point in time, it was Egypt. One point in time, it was Great Britain. One point in time, it was Rome. Today, it's America. But it's always one country that's stronger militarily than all the other countries, and they kind of bully all the other countries like America does now. They got bases in this country, bases in that country, military bases in somebody else's country. You know what I'm saying? That's like somebody coming to your house and be like, this is my room. What? Oh yeah, y'all can have your house, but this is my room. But this is my room right here. That's what these folks doing. And that's what the Romans was doing back then. And not only was they spreading their government, they were spreading their religion. So you will see a mixed god like Serapis, which was a Greek and an Egyptian god. The Greeks introduced the Grecos and Romans. They was in cahoots with each other because the Greeks had invaded Rome. So Greco-Rome had invaded Egypt, and they started mixing their religion with this religion. And that's when you see the rise of the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, because Egypt had these concepts. Christianity did not. But after a few thousand years in Egypt, now Christianity got a concept of a Trinity. How that happened? It wasn't there in the beginning of the religion, but it's there after they go to Egypt. That's because acculturation, the same process that gave you the concept of good and evil when the Persians invaded Babylon, and they got the concept of a holy war between good and evil, and good was supposed to win in the end, which evidence suggests that good does not win as much as evil does, sadly. You know what I'm saying? If we playing Monopoly and I cheat, I probably gonna win. As long as I don't get caught. You know what I'm saying? So evil don't always lose and good don't always prevail. If you don't believe me, look at the state of America. I mean, we call this shit the land of the free, but we lead in incarceration in the world. We got the highest number of people in prison in the fucking world, but they call this shit the land of the free. It's not the land of the free. It's the land of the incarcerated. But everybody wants to pretend like it's the land of the free. So if you look at the shit for what it actually is, you start to understand stuff, and you start to realize, okay, this shit ain't true, that shit ain't true. But beware now, because some of y'all take that shit too far. Some of y'all saying, oh, everything that I ever heard ain't true. Oh, I can't believe nothing. The earth is flat. The sun is a crystal ball, and all this shit. Like, Nah, nigga. Some of the stuff you can prove. That's why I brought up evolution. Like you ain't got to believe in evolution. That's why people ask, do you accept evolution? Because it's a fucking fact. You ain't got to believe it. If you look at the evidence and stop being so fucking arrogant and think you already know something, then you will find out that it's true. You know what I mean? And you can't argue with it. Can't argue with truth. If I say Sue shot Sally, and then I ain't just say Sue shot Sally. I showed up with the murder weapon, and you can test the bullet and see through a ballistics test that the bullet in Sally's head came from a gun that was registered to Sue. Sue has no alibi for the time of the murder, and I got 3 people that said they saw Sue shot Sally, and then fiber from Sue's car was found at the murder scene at Sally's house. All of these are called evidences, and one of them alone might be considered weak, but all of them together, we can pretty much conclude that Sue probably did shoot Sally. But if I just say Sue shot Sally, that's not good enough. And then Sue say, no, I was at work at the time. And then we look at the surveillance camera and we see she was at work. Well, now we know for a fact through evidence that Sue did not shoot Sally. So just same way, a cop don't have to be there, because people ask me dumb questions like, were you there when the earth was created? How you know God didn't create it? Were you there? I don't got to be there. I'm looking at the evidence. Was the cop there when Sue shot Sally? No, nobody was fucking there. But you know what they do? They look at the evidence and they can determine exactly what happened for the most part. If you ever seen CSI or some shit, they can tell you this motherfucker came in the door, he hit his head, and he fell over here, and that's this blood splatter from here because the killer was shooting from this angle, but he was left-handed. Exactly. They tell you all this shit, and nobody was there. Nobody was fucking there. But the evidence tells you the story. The same way we know evolution is true. The evidence tells us all of human life is related, and it all springs back. And it is just like it's clear cut and proven when you look at the evidence. Just like your cop can determine who shot somebody, and nobody saw it. And the motherfucker sitting there lying saying, I ain't do it. I wasn't here. But the evidence says that you lying. All right. So you got to put evidence to play in your religion and in your life and in all these other bullshit beliefs that y'all have. And I know y'all got them because I used to have them too. The crystals, the goddamn law of attraction, the spiritual healing, spirit science. It's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. All you got to do is look at the evidence. Stop listening to people. Don't even listen to me. Here, every time I make a claim, I tell you, you can go look it up here. You can check it out here. You can read this book or whatever. I don't want people to just believe what I say. You know what I'm saying?
And see, that's not a problem. See, that's the problem. See, how people just, when they hear something that sounds good or conform to their notion of belief, then it's not. They won't go look it up because what they feel like your word is saying, especially like when it comes to belief system or God, they don't even go look it up themselves. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them will lie and say, yes, I don't follow what man says. Like Tiana, that was her name. Her name was Tiana, and she said, I don't follow everything. I said, but shit, you in the atheist live now, and we're asking you questions, and you just said you don't believe what every man says, but number one, you're believing a book that man wrote. Number two, you're believing your elder. You just said so. And she's like, no, well, when he tell me something, I go research it myself. No, you don't. There is no way you can research it yourself, because if you did, you will find a contradiction in what your elder was saying. And that's when we asked him about fallible man. You know what I'm saying? And she said, yeah, man can be flawed. I mean, I said, well, do you believe that your elder can actually teach you the wrong thing? And she said, yeah. I said, well, how do you know your elder is teaching you the right thing? You see what I'm saying? So that's the thing. There's no evidence. They just go by what's hearsay. Like you said, you show to a crime scene, you see bullet holes. How are you going to determine who did it? You got to investigate. They don't. That's something that they do. They don't do. They just look at it. Oh, it was a gunshot. I see 3 holes over here. Let's look at the boyfriend. That's it. That's all they do. That's what they'll tell you.
I want y'all to take that approach to court when you got a loved one. Hopefully you don't. When you got a loved one, or you yourself end up in a trial. I want y'all to take that approach to court. Ask the prosecutor, were you there? Were you there? Were you there? See how fucking far you get. You ain't gonna get nowhere. So I don't understand how y'all think that shit hold weight in something that's even more important to you, as in your religion. So people put their religion over everything. You know what I'm saying? If I was to ask 100 people, what's the most important thing in the universe, I imagine that most of them would say God. And the fucked up part about it is there ain't no God. So the most important thing to most people ain't a thing. And that's the problem. That's why the world is not as good as it could be. If there was a such thing as a heaven, it would be right here. Because hello, we evolved to live here. We didn't evolve to live in outer fucking space somewhere. Or
Yeah,
wherever
exactly.
you think this heaven could be, it would have to be outside the universe, which makes no sense, or on
And
another planet.
Danielle just made a good point. She's made a good point. They'll be like, "No, look at the trees and look at the stars as anecdotal evidence." That's basically what they allude to, anecdotal evidence. You know what I'm
And
saying?
then I would return them to the same question, like, were you there when the stars got made? Have you ruled out that this is all natural? So if I was to say, okay, like I was trying to ask that dumbass Christian Dashika, I'll ask her, if you come across a pond, how do you know if it's man-made or if it's just a pond? How do you determine this? Do you just believe it? Are all ponds man-made or are all ponds natural? No, there's ways you can go about finding out this information, right? You have to do some research, you have to do some evidence, you have to survey the land and see, I mean, maybe go back and get some history maps of the land and see was it a water map right here? Or are these only showing up in new maps? And you might get closer to the answer that you're looking for. But just saying that it's a pond right there don't mean that it was man-made pond. It could just be a pond. You know what I'm saying? So the stars exist, and they like to say stuff like stupid stuff like, no man could make the earth, no man could make a rock, no man could do this. Well, show me a God that can do it. You ain't got no evidence of what you claim done it. You just saying that no man can do it, which I don't understand why that's your standard for something being created by a super being. Just because a man can't do it, a man ain't nothing but a ape that can talk, and we wear clothes. We put on suits, and we like to pretend that we ain't animals no more. Guess what? You still shit, piss. You got two eyes, a nose, a mouth. You breathe oxygen. You eat food. You got red blood, just like every other animal. So how are you not an animal? So you talking about can't no man do this, can't no man. That don't mean nothing to me, but man can't do it. That don't mean that something above a man did it. It might just be natural. Sometimes things just happen. All right. So when you, like I was saying, it's hard to believe that God created the earth when you know how stars and planets form. We know this by observing the shit, not by just guessing. You know what I'm saying? They actually have evidence. So planets come from basically the remnants of a star. A star is coalesced mass and matter that gets so heavy it starts to react and fuse. The atoms start to fuse together, and that creates light and heat. The bigger the star, the higher the mass. Now all of that matter don't coalesce. Some of it get left out around, and it forms what's called an accretion disk. Now the same thing starts to happen with those accretion disks. Those little clumps of matter start to form together, and they end up forming asteroids, comets, and guess what? Planets. So that's where planets come from. So we already have an explanation for where planets come from. Your God is not needed. So not only is this motherfucker not observable, we can't see him, can't hear him, can't talk to him, but we don't need him. He don't do anything. Prayer works at the rate of chance. Planets can form without God just fine. We can explain the diversity of life just fine with evolution. The only thing that is left to explain is the origin, which, like Neil deGrasse Tyson say, we got our top people working on that. We get back with you. But just because we can't explain something don't mean that it can't be explained ever, or that some God done it. It just means that we're too stupid to be able to explain it. That's not proof of anything but your ignorance. We don't know where the universe came from. I think the universe is eternal because it don't make no sense to me for the shit to come from anywhere. It had to be another place for it to come from, right? So it don't make sense to me for the universe to come from somewhere. It just simply changed form. It was one way.
And
Now it's a different way.
Not only that, that's why, you know what I'm saying, they don't when you ask them where did God come from, they don't want to deal with the infinite regress argument. You know what I'm saying? So if they like, well, the God is eternal. I said, well, no. I said, well, if he's eternal, was he self-caused? Like you said, and I asked you, you can anything be self-caused? You said no. Well, God was self-caused. How did that happen? You know what I'm saying? So that's when they get into the infinite regress, and then it goes nowhere. It's just basically a circular argument.
Yeah, and there's the cognitive dissonance too, because they can't rationalize that what they're saying about the universe go for their God too. So you can't just come from nowhere. It can't just come from nowhere. Hello, that go for your God too, motherfucker. He can't just come from nowhere. Where did this motherfucker come from? He just exists. If God did exist, he would be a very complex being. And what we know is things that are complex don't just come from nowhere. They form over time, series of progression of this turning into this turning into this. A motherfucker start out as a baby, or before he's a baby, he's an embryo. You know what I'm saying? It gets turned into a baby. Then you grow into a child, an adolescent, a young adult. They're a full-grown human being, and you're still not done. Then you're gonna turn to a older human being before you wither away and die. So you come into the world shitting on yourself, and you go out shitting on yourself. But this is a progression. Nobody's born an old fucking man except Benjamin Button, and that's a disease. So I want to take this time, man, to remind
Adam and Eve were
everybody.
born fully grown adults. They were born fully grown adults, and can't no Hebrew or Christian, ask that question. How was they born full grown adults? But they got a navel though. Women got navels. Say what now?
That's it. It's
Magic, yeah.
And that's another thing that we proved too, that Adam and Eve don't exist, and that's disproven by evolution. There was no first couple, that one man and one woman. That's impossible. It does not how life, how species began. You don't just pop out. Nobody gives, like, I'm a human. I'm not going to give birth to what humans one day evolved to. It's a slow progression over time. You can't just, it's like teleporting. I can't just go from Atlanta to California. I got to pass everywhere in between. You can't just go from this to that. You got to take this progressive steps in between. So it's always the offspring is the same species as its parent. But once the offspring changes slightly, because you don't look exactly like your parents, you slightly different. And your kids are slightly different. And your kids going to be slightly different. Their kids going to be slightly different. So once you get down to the end of the line, that kid that's at the end of the line is way different from the motherfucker that was at the beginning of the line. And that's how you get speciation, evolution. And this takes a lot of time. And that's why people have a hard time understanding it, because they expecting to see it. Oh, I ain't never seen that happen. You ain't never lived for 1 billion years, you big dummy. But shout out to Powell.
Yeah, I be telling them all the time. I'm sorry, evolution. Yeah, I be telling them all the time. I be like,
we doing the reverse cash out in a few minutes. So now is your time to get your dollars in if you want to participate in the Atheist Church Live reverse cash out. Please send in your dollar to $ Atheist Church. Go ahead, Kwame.
No, I be telling them all the time. What was I gonna say? I be telling them. Damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. It left me that quick, man. No, you good. You good.
Yeah, man, it happens all the time. I just want to get that out and let everybody know that we still doing that. And appreciate your donations, Danielle, Steve the Theorist, and Powell. And we got a little bit of money in the pot. So if you want to get a nice, as they say in Christianity, a blessing, all you got to do is send in $1. And if you lose, you're not really losing, because you're giving $1 to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It's not coming to me. It's not coming to Kwame. It's going to one of the people who sent it. Might be you. Oh, man. All y'all Christians out there, if you pay tithes at your church, I challenge you to skip tithing and just take the money straight to the community that need it. Because all you're doing is giving money to a pastor who probably don't really need it as much as you think they do. Because, I mean, how long your church going to have a building fund? At some point, this shit should be built, right? You know what I mean? Like, at some point, y'all should be done. Why is there a building fund? Other businesses don't got building funds, but your church got the building fund. I don't understand that. I don't understand that one bit. And I see all these old ladies write checks, man. Y'all know some about these preachers. If y'all never seen that documentary called Marjo, these preachers, not all of them, but at least one, because it's in the documentary Marjo. This motherfucker was getting so much money, he would just throw the checks away and keep the cash. All he wanted was the cash. So all these people that writing checks, check to make sure that those checks are actually getting deposited or whatever you donated to. And there's another preacher that set up a DBA, which is a separate company. I mean, doing business as. He set up a DBA that had a similar name to his church. It's like his church might have been like First Baptist Missionary, whatever the fuck. And then he made a DBA, like First Missionary Baptist. You know what I'm saying? So when people write checks, they write checks to the church, and he take them to his DBA and donate it to the DBA. And nigga got caught, but I imagine that for some reason they go easy on people that's diminishing the black community all the time. If you want to go far in life, sad to say, do like young Pharaoh and work against the black community. The white people will support you. They will lift you up. So it's a lot of white people that want to see black people fail, and they will support you in doing so. So all these preachers and stuff, they love to go, oh, please go out and preach. We're gonna drop the charges, Pastor. We're gonna drop the charges, Minister so and so. You know what I'm saying? That's why these motherfuckers like to put that shit in front of their name, even though they ain't got no credentials, which don't mean shit even if you had them, because nigga, I could get them right now. It's gonna cost like $500. I can go get a bishop robe and be eligible to get marry people and all type of shit. All you gotta do is pay. So it don't mean that you qualified to do it or that you special or anything. It look like we got another entry. See who it is. That's Kwame. Okay, appreciate that, Kwame. So Kwame has entered the raffle. If y'all want to enter the raffle, all you gotta do is send $1 to Atheist Church on Cash App. Make sure you spell it right. If you spell it wrong, it's not gonna come to us and we can't help you. But there are people out there that make Cash Apps in similar names because they capitalize on y'all misspelling mistakes. So make sure you know how to spell. I can teach you about religion. I can't teach you how to spell. That's not my job. So you gotta make sure you spell it right. It's on the screen. $ Atheist Church. All right. And it's gonna say Atheist Church on there. So make sure you send it to the right people. Oh yeah, if y'all want to call in, y'all can call. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. We ain't gonna bite. Click the link if you want to cam up. If you don't want to cam up, you can call in. You don't got to show your face, because I know, some people be nervous. Maybe you ain't got your hair done and you don't want to be on camera today. I get it. Just call in. You know what I mean? And we're going to explore what you believe and why. If I said something that you think is not factual or incorrect, please tell me, because I enjoy when people tell me I'm wrong about something, especially if I'm wrong about it, because that way I ain't got to be wrong no more. Now I know. You know what I'm saying? You tell me, hey, actually you said this and it's actually this. Man, I've been corrected so many times. I don't got no problem with it, but for some reason people seem to have problems with people disagreeing with them. So I'm not one of those people you can call in and disagree all you want to. We're gonna have a respectful conversation and hopefully get closer to the truth. Because you ain't never gonna get close to the truth if you think you already got it. You got to be open to being wrong if you're gonna really get close to the truth. If you think you already got it, first of all, why you ain't the richest man in the world? Why you ain't got nothing but good stories to tell people? Why you still going through the same shit as everybody else if you got all the answers? So obviously, no one person has all the answers. You know what I'm saying? Even if you do, that don't necessarily mean that you're going to do the right thing with it. Or if you like Bill Gates and you got all the money, that don't necessarily mean you got all the answers. That's another mistake that people make. Y'all mistake income for intellect. But just because somebody got some money don't mean that they intelligent. And just because somebody don't got no money don't mean that they not intelligent. So somebody could win the lottery, might be dumb as a box of nails, but got lucky and hit the lottery. But y'all mistake income for intellect. So y'all see somebody with some money and y'all think, oh, he must have earned this. He must have done something to this. He might be like Donald Trump, dumb as shit, but his daddy was rich. His daddy give him $1 million. He fucked it up. Daddy give him another shot, $1 million. And if you fucked $1 million up twice, you really dumb. So the fact that Donald Trump is a billionaire, like, duh, you better been a billionaire if you started life with $1 million. Nigga, if any one of us, me, Kwame, or any one of y'all watching, was given $1 million when y'all was 18, I guarantee you probably end up being a fucking billionaire. If you had any know-how. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put some of this stuff into the stock market. I'm gonna start this business. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know how Donald Trump do business. He don't pay no damn taxes. So of course he's a fucking billionaire. That don't mean that nigga smart. I mean, he had money to begin with. So stop doing that. Stop mistaking income for intellect. Side note. But Kwame, if you got anything you want to say, I'm gonna go ahead and get this reverse collection plate started. It's gonna take me a while to get everybody's names entered into the spin wheel. But everybody that wants to participate, now is the time to send it. Send your dollar.
Well, I just text Captain Zazariak again. He said that right now they're doing a reading right now. He said, sorry you couldn't make it. Yeah. You know what time it was. He knew what time it was. I mean, he might well be doing his reading, but he knew what time it was. Because he said, at the clubhouse on Friday, he said, yeah, bro, I want to come. He was all hyped up about it. But when he found out he was coming on your channel, because I sent him the clip, he said, send me the YouTube channel. And I sent him a video, you know what I'm saying, about it. And it's like, he was like, you know what, dog, I got a reading to do. He like, nah, bro, nah.
Because one thing about it, you know what I'm saying, these motherfuckers deal with the Bible, right? So like I was saying before, I don't even have to go that far. We ain't got to deal with the Bible. I can, you know what I'm saying? We can get into the verses. Y'all seen me do it before. We can get into the verses if y'all want to, but it really ain't, we ain't got to take it that far. So I would rather ask you like just regular comments as questions. And that's what people have a hard time doing, especially on air. You know, like you remember, I think it was our first interview with Freddie Biggs. And we asked him this question, and he just, I don't know. Then mama like, get the fuck out of there, hang up. You know what I'm saying? Like he couldn't take it. And we ain't doing nothing but asking questions. They got so upset. Why y'all ganging up on him and all this stuff? I'm like, ganging up? We just asking questions. How you know this? Where you get that from? Well, okay, so if I told you this, would you believe me? You don't believe me, but you believe the book? And that's ganging up on somebody. Nah, ganging up is when it's people fighting somebody or doing it in a hostile way. All I'm doing is trying to figure out what you believe and why. Why you believe. If I told you some crazy shit, like, I believe I can fly, wouldn't you wonder why? Why you believe that shit? Have you ever flown before? Do you have wings? Why do you believe that you can fly? I want to know why, because this shit sound crazy to me. But I want to know why you believe it. Because if you can show me a good reason why you believe it, guess what? I believe it too. Hello. All y'all Hebrew Israelites, y'all ain't got to be scared. Because if y'all can prove that what you talking about is worth something, I'll be a fucking Hebrew Israelite. I'm looking for the truth. And they do the same scam shit that the white people do, and they call it the truth instead of calling it the Bible. Oh, when I found the truth, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no fucking, that shit ain't true. You know what I'm saying? That shit make y'all feel good because y'all think that the religion is about y'all.
Yeah, they weren't in slavery. Yeah, they weren't in slavery ship as a badge of honor. And see that Deuteronomy 28:60. I told the Hebrews, that's what I was gonna say. I told these Hebrews in the clubhouse, I was like, do y'all realize black people been in slavery over here for 400 years? Right. Okay. The Bible, the King James Bible is only 410 years old. So they was writing down the shit at the council as the shit was going on. Slavery was already going on even 200 years before the King James Bible. That's why it don't even look like a prophecy, because slavery was already happening before the Bible. So how is it a fucking prophecy when slavery was already happening? Even before the printing press.
Facts, man. Like I was saying on the video, Jesus versus coronavirus, that lady was trying to say, oh, God said this was going to happen. God said this was gonna happen. What part of the Bible did you read? Because I ain't read that part. Where God said we're going. If God said right here that we will experience famine and disease and war. Hello, famine and disease and war was already going on. So whoever wrote this shit ain't telling you no prophecy. They just telling you what's going on. And if I say in the future, the sun gonna rise every day. Because I'm a prophet from God, and I'm telling you the sun will rise. And it shall set. But it will return the next day. Because God told me so. Does that make me a prophet? Or does that make me a fucking nigga with common sense that can see that the sun rises every goddamn day? Hello. So that's not a prophecy to tell me about some shit that's gonna happen in the future.
It's not even an educated guess. It's not even an educated guess.
It ain't shit. It's an observation at the most, an observation. Y'all telling me some stuff that's already happening. You know what I'm saying? So they have no, as we said earlier, good evidence. Good, all they have is hearsay. The Bible is a big book
or anecdotal evidence or circumstantial evidence, basically meaning, since slavery was Deuteronomy 28. Yeah, it's circumstantial evidence, man. That's all it is. Because they're equating Deuteronomy 28:68, you know what I'm saying, with modern day slavery. My question to the Hebrews, I know you got to do this reverse collection plate. Why did God send y'all into Egypt? Why did God send the Israelites into Egypt the first time? Were they being bad? Or did he send them in there to get nourishment? Because Pharaoh fed they motherfucking ass. Pharaoh should have let their ass starve. Fuck them.
You know, and then the Bible, look, guess what? The Bible, they doing the same tactic again. They ain't gonna name them. They're just gonna say Pharaoh. All these pharaohs had names. They didn't go by Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? They had names like Pharaoh such and such. You know what I'm saying? We don't just call the president. Sometimes they say Mr. President, but generally speaking, they call him President Obama, President Trump, President Nixon, President whatever the fuck his name is. So I want to know the names of the pharaoh. You can't just tell me fucking pharaoh. That's not good enough evidence. All right. You can't tell me the king from way back when killed your great granddad. And I say what king? You say just say the king. That don't tell me nothing. And make me not believe you because you can't even give me a fucking name. You can't say God did this and God did that. And I say which God? And you talk about the God, the creator, the only God there is. Nah, motherfucker, which God are you talking about? Because it's been a lot of proposed gods. And you just saying God. That's like saying somebody dad shot Sally. And I say, well, who's dad? The person who shot Sally's dad. No shit, Sherlock. What's his name? Because that ain't telling us nothing. You know what I'm saying? You giving us titles. Satan is a title that means adversary. His name, Lucifer. Y'all don't call that. Y'all call him Satan, which is his title. Adversary. That's like saying, hey, colonel, general, or something like that. Hey, boss. These are not names. So y'all, again, I
was a corporal, and I was a corporal in the military. They didn't just say corporal. They go get me a corporal. And people be like, which corporal you want me to get? We had a bunch of corporals in the unit. Like, and then you got hey man, I need a corporal. What corporal do you need? So he just
exactly.
Which one? Do you need specialists? Do you need one that's a medic? Do you need one that's a artilleryman? Which one do you need? Because I was artillery, so we had different corporals for different jobs. So yeah.
Exactly, man. So that's a game that the religious people, especially Christians, like to play. And I hope y'all don't fall for it no more. If you have fallen for it in the past, y'all see through it. You don't let nobody just give you a title and tell it to you like it's history. Because if it's history, this motherfucker got a name. What is his name? And when you go back farther in time, they didn't have last names, but they had where they was from. So you would have like it would be Joshua of Palestine or wherever he was from, right? Because it might be another Joshua from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So these people had something like a last name that was like from where you was from. It would be like Apollos from Greece or whatever, or so and so from Rome. But then that was before they had last names. But they always had some type of a name. Wasn't nobody just going by a title. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get out of that acceptance of people just loosely saying God this and God that. Nah, motherfucker, put a title on that bitch. Put a name to that motherfucker. What God are you talking about? because I don't know if you're talking about Vishnu, Krishna, Allah, Yahweh, motherfucking Hercules, Zeus, Thor, Amoxilus, Serapis, all these other gods that's been proposed. I don't know who you talking about. And you trying to cheat and say I'm talking about the only God that is, the God that created. And I say, well, what make you think something was created? How you know the pond is natural versus man-made? Why are you assuming that the pond was man-made? How you know that it's not just a pond? You know what I'm saying? And they can never answer that. They always say some shit like, well, it couldn't have came from nowhere. I agree. But how you know that it was created? It couldn't have came from nowhere. I agree. How you know it was created? Because you ain't exhausting all the possibilities. Motherfuckers act like either the shit came from nowhere or God done it. That's not the only two possibilities. Those are the two absurdities. Either the shit came from nowhere or God done it. That's absurd. Both of them are absurd. How about the shit is a process of formation that takes billions and billions of years. There's one thing changing from one state to the next. So the universe and what we call the Big Bang, that don't tell you nothing about the universe other than it expanded. It don't say where it came from, what it was, how it happened. All it says is, man, this shit was real small. It got bigger real fast. You know what I'm saying? And the Big Bang is actually a misleading term because it wasn't big and it didn't bang. There's no sound, no air out there in space for the sound to travel through. And the term Big Bang was actually used in a derogatory sense. Like they was joking about it. Like, what you think the universe just came from some Big Bang? You know, that's how they was describing it back then. Now it's kind of stuck, but all it is an expansion of the universe. So the universe was really, really, really small and it expanded. That's it. It don't say where it came from, but that's the beginning of time. I think they do think that's the beginning of time, but that's because time is largely an illusion. Time is a byproduct of things moving and changing. If things don't move and change, time makes no sense. So we measure time by the things moving. If it's 12 o'clock, it ain't just 12 o'clock. We say it's 12 o'clock because the sun is at the highest point in the sky. If that bitch stay right there, it's always going to be 12 o'clock. And on the other side of the world, it's always going to be midnight. But we keep track of the movement of the sun in order to keep time so that we can coordinate. So I could tell Tazariak and Kwame, hey, we're going to be on live at 9 o'clock. We're supposed to start at 8, but it's going to be 9 o'clock. So we can coordinate with each other. We have this time. But really what I'm saying is, hey, when the sun gets to this position in the sky, we're going to start the show. That's what it means. Things moving creates time. So if the universe stayed a singularity, time is not needed. Time is not necessary. Just like your God is not necessary. But let's get on to the reverse collection plate. Shout out to everybody that signed in and make sure I don't got no people that I'm missing out on. All right. Hope everybody can see. We're going to get it started. Now, we do this every week, so if y'all want to participate, I encourage you to do so. You don't got to wait till show day to send your dollar. You can send it anytime during the week, and the money just sits there, and it adds up, you know? So right now, we're looking at about $31, which is a little bit less than what I would hope to be giving away, but I can only give what y'all seeing. So shout out to the people that have sent in the reverse collection plate entries. And let's get it going. Now, this is something that I guarantee you your church ain't never gonna do. Give you some money that you haven't already given them. And the winner is N.E.W. once again. So as y'all see, we do this randomly. I don't pick the name. I don't pick the winner. I just put it on the list and the computer picks. So N.E.W. is the winner. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Peace, Omega Dread. Darren Savage. I missed you last week. I thought you was going to call in. What happened to you, sister? We in here today. All right, so let me send it. And y'all can see I'm sending it to her right now. Because I know people have a hard time trusting people with all the scammers and, you know what I'm saying, capitalists out here. the Dr. Umars and shit like that. I don't want y'all to think that we just want y'all money. We give this money right back to whoever. And the purpose is to show that the atheists do something more for the community than the Christians do. Because Christians just take money from the people. Church just takes money from you. We don't want to do that. We don't want your money like that. We want to empower y'all, to help y'all. So if Christianity can't do it, but an atheist can, then that says a lot for your good God.
Exactly. You know, that's the thing. They say that the money is used to build the kingdom of God. What kingdom? I mean, do y'all have any building plans? I be wanting to ask churches if it's to further build God's kingdom. Like, who's building God's kingdom? I mean, what Mexicans they hired to go build God's kingdom? You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't see no Mexicans walking to heaven and shit. You know, with some damn plywood and some lumber and some cement and a 6-pack of Corona. You know what I'm saying? Because them motherfuckers do be drinking on the job though. They do. So I don't know, man.
They do, man. But I don't get it, man. Like I said it earlier. I think you had stepped away. But I'm asking, like, how long is your church gonna have a building fund? Shouldn't the shit be built at some point? Shouldn't it get to a point where we're done building? Like, why y'all still need money for a building fund? I mean, Red Cross don't got a building fund. They just accept donations. Blue Shield don't got a building fund, but this church always got a fucking building fund, and it don't look like y'all, you know what I'm saying, building shit. At least not the churches that I frequent. So they look the damn same as they did 10 years ago. You know,
that's just like them mega churches, man.
Yeah, man, they make so much money, man.
They got over 30,000 plus members, and they're all putting their tithes and offerings in. That's why they're able to afford a security team. I ended up quitting that job, man. I couldn't stand being at that church doing security for them. You know what I'm saying? And I had to say, in order for me to keep my job, I had to say, God bless you, God bless. I said, man, I don't even believe in a God. Because people are like, well, he ain't saying God bless me. I'm gonna go report it to Robert, whatever that pastor name was. It was the Gateway Church I was working at, and I basically just quit going. I just told him, hey man, either put me at the bank or let me go.
I always ask people what that mean. I just like to see people squirm when they talking about shit that don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like when people started talking about spirits and blessings, I say, what's that? What that mean? I don't know what that mean. I just play dumb. What's that? What that mean? And watch them realize they don't know what the fucking mean either. They're just repeating some shit that are told to them. Oh, God bless you. God bless you. What does that mean? What does that mean? God bless you. Are you instructing God to bless me? Are you forcing God to bless me? Are you suggesting to God to bless me? And what does it mean for God to bless me? Does that mean cut my head off? Does that mean give me some money? What does that mean? How do you know these things? And I like to watch people squirm when you ask them simple questions like, what's that? You telling me this shit, well, what is it? And they can't tell you what it is. Trust and believe. If I tell you something and you ask me what it is, I'm going to be able to tell you what I'm talking about. Because I don't too much to talk about nothing that I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So if you hear that shit, man, if I was you, just ask them, play dumb. What that mean? What God bless you?
Well, I can say that now, but at first I was just trying to keep a job, you know what I'm saying? But I don't even work there no more, so.
That's messed up too, man. That they would like instruct somebody else to do that. Oh, you got to say this and you got to say that. Why are you trying to control what I say? You know what I'm saying?
I really don't even say nothing at all. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? They be like, God bless, and I don't even know how to. It's like my response would be like, okay, thank you. You know, that'd be my response.
I don't even say bless you when people sneeze no more. You know what I'm saying? And some people find it rude, but I would ask them like, why you need me to say bless you? You know what I'm saying? Some people like they'll sneeze and they'll be like, bless me, like all rude, like because they mad I didn't say it.
I don't say it either.
Okay. You know what I mean? And if I sneeze and somebody say it, I'm gonna ask them, why you say that? What that mean? You know what I'm saying? Because I asked that question when I was a kid, man. At this time, I was still believing in Christianity. I just wanted to know, why do we say bless you when we sneeze? And you know what I was told? Motherfuckers told me, your heart stop every time you sneeze. And that's their way of, you know what I'm saying? We say bless you to protect you. And I grew up believing that shit. Oh, your heart stop every
I
time you
don't think
sneeze.
that's true either. I
It's
don't think your
not.
heart stops when you
It's
sneeze.
definitely not true. It's not true. But that's what I was told, though. That's what I'm telling you. This is how religious people think, bro. This
It
was what I
skips
was
a beat,
told
but
as a
it
kid.
doesn't stop.
As a fucking kid. This is what I was told. Your heart stopped and
It
you gotta say
don't-
bless you because you could die. Even though I don't ever hear about people dying from sneezing, but that's what I was
That's
told, you
almost
know what I'm
never.
saying? And ever
That's
since
almost never.
I stopped saying it, I ain't noticed a difference other than the fact that some people find it rude. Some people don't notice, you know what I'm saying, that you didn't say bless you. But in other countries, that's not something, it's a cultural thing. That's not something that you have to do. You know, like we shake hands. Some countries they don't do that shit. Some countries they lock pinkies. We don't lock pinkies. But in some countries they do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So we say bless you. In some countries they say gesundheit. But this is a cultural thing. It's not something that you're required to do. And it ain't even, if you think it ain't even in the Bible. So if you want to follow the Bible like you say you do, you adding all this extra stuff to it. You know what I'm saying? And it's pointless. So if y'all want to see another video about pointless stuff, I did it on Christmas, why we celebrate Christmas, and the prayer experiment. It talked about how all these religions know that the other religions do stuff that's pointless. Like the Christians know that you don't have to face the east when you pray, so they don't do it. And the Muslims know that you don't have to take communion because Jesus' body ain't turning into no breadcrumbs. But each one of these believes their own crazy story, but they don't believe the crazy stories of the other religions. You know what I'm saying? Hello, cognitive dissonance.
Exactly.
Well, I want to remind everybody that Atheist Church Live is an audio podcast. You can listen to it anywhere you get podcasts. If you have a smart speaker, you can say, "Hey Alexa," or wherever smart speaker you have, play Atheist Church Live, and then they'll play us. So please subscribe to our audio podcast. Help us out. Don't forget to tune in next week. Participate in the reverse collection plate. And Kwame, if you got anything else to add, we'll go ahead and close out the show after you get some last
Yes.
word in.
All right, y'all. So this is what I'm about to do. So, to not clutter, Kweli's main channel, Atheist Church Live, I do have a channel, which is the Black Atheist Reality Show. We are going to do all the Bible comedies over there, the chick tracks and the rants over there. So so the channel that I created is going to be an open forum and it's anything goes, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to keep it respectful, but it's going to be open because I don't want to clutter the atheist church, you know what I'm saying? Because this is more educational and mine can be and then the Black Atheist Reality Show can be the rants, it can be the comedy, it can be whatever. So that's what. So after this, I'm gonna actually do this, open up my channel right now and get started with the Bible comedy over there. So if y'all want to join, just click on my icon and hit subscribe and hit the notification bell because I am about to go live in a few seconds. I got to get my people from the clubhouse to show up so we can go and get this Bible comedy thing going.
Yeah, for sure. Y'all make sure y'all follow Kwame over there to the Atheist Church channel. Oh, I'm sorry. What was it called again? I'm sorry.
The Black Atheist Reality Show.
Black Atheist Reality Show. Follow him over there, hit subscribe, and before y'all leave here, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to this channel as well. And we will see you next week. Kwame, send me that link so I can join in.
All right, bet.
All right, peace and black power, family. We out of here.
Peace and black power, y'all.